weekend millionaires. Just trying to be cool. Yeah, one day we'll be there. Till Monday comes again. We're weekend millionaires.
Hello everyone, this is Sam back for a new video that is going to be a raid guide, and for this one we're going to be having a look at the Gorseval the Multifarious encounter. This is the second encounter of the Spirit Whale raid wing and actually was one of the hardest back at release for the reason that you do have to do enough damage within a certain time frame, or you have to do a specific mechanic called the updrafts. However, nowadays most of the group have made it possible to avoid doing that mechanic by dealing enough damage to the boss within the time frame that is required. Now we're gonna have a look at how exactly can you as a druid participate in this. Quite obviously, your damage isn't gonna be mattering for that much, however, you have the possibility of bringing the support to the table and making sure that your group doesn't risk wiping, which would cost you the possibility to avoid the updraft mechanic. In this encounter, I am going to be playing as a Condi Druid so as to show you that it is well possible to keep people healed if you are playing healer. Most of the times when you are playing in a per group, you are going to see some weavers who are going to be dealing too much damage, well actually using too many hits during the retaliatory phase of Gorseval the Multifarious, which is going to cause them to literally blow up. This phase is probably the most dangerous that Gorseval has, and it is the one you will mainly want to look out for. Apart from that, the only thing that you really need to do at Gorseval as a druid is to make sure that you keep boons on your team, especially at the start of each DPS phase, because you want the damage to be very bursty, and you also want to make sure that you immobilize the spirits at the split phases so that they do not reach Gorseval. I'm going to be explaining this more in detail while we're going to be watching my own gameplay. Without further ado, let's have a look at exactly how I am playing Druid at Gorseval and my choices of utility. I am going to be going for a Frost Spirit and a Storm Spirit, the reasoning behind that being double. I want to make sure that I always have might that is being pumped out to my allies, so having Frost Spirit is useful for that. There is also the fact that Frost Spirit in a power comp would be bringing more to the table. I argued taking the Sun Spirit in this Condi setup, which would be done easily if you had double Druid, but since I wasn't sure about my own might generation, I went for the Frost Spirit instead. Storm Spirit is pretty good as it is your main source of vulnerability application, despite the skills of the Necros. So here, since I have mostly a Necro squad, of course we would have had enough vulnerability anyways, but it also gives you a bigger CC than you would expect and can be used at the CC phase to make sure that the group doesn't wipe to the retaliation. Finally, I went for Entangle to make sure that I could immobilize the spirits at the split phase. Now, we're gonna have a look at the pets that I decided to take. I went for an Iboga and a Gazelle. The reasoning behind that is that I just want to have damage and CC, and these two pets are the best suited for that matter. Now, I have explained everything that I have taken for the encounter, and I'm going to be leaving you to watching my gameplay. As we go towards Gorseval, I make sure that I use two skills, use my Entangle, and then instantly give might to the team. I then use my Glyph of Empowerment to make sure that damage comes in just right, and now we're already on to the first CC. I am waiting for the first hit to come from retaliation in order to use my Glyph of Rejuvenation on people that have already lost a bit of health. This ensures that I generate enough Astral Force to go into Avatar immediately and heal them as the retaliation happens. Each time that Gorseval goes into CC and does the retaliation, you want to make sure that you're gonna have your avatar ready to prevent your teammates from downing. Swiftly, we are gonna be having the damage that is required in order to phase Gorseval. As you can see, I sacrificed my spirits so that I can recast them at the end of the split phase. We quickly go all together to the first of the spirits and then move on to a second one, which is gonna leave only two for me to entangle. This is always a tactic that is being done, and more than once the pugs are gonna split between two so that you can always make sure to immobilize the last two. If you are unsure you will be able to get them, you can always stand split from the group and make sure to be between them as they advance forward. We're now on to the next phase, and as you could see, I made sure to give immediately some might to my team before starting the second DPS phase. My spirits are up, the damage buffs are up, and we are now ready for the CC as I have Avatar to heal my team within it. I'm going immediately for a number 4, followed by a number 3 and a number 2. I make sure that the heals are good enough so that my team maintains color throughout the CC phase. As you can see, we also used all of our CC, and right now I am going to be sacrificing the last of my spirit a little bit late because I realized from the first phase that I had enough time to kill my frost spirit later on. There's also the fact that this phase is a little bit longer usually because people are going to be clearing the orbs to make sure that they don't reach you during the last DPS phase. As such, you have more time to recast your spirits before that phase ends. Once again, as the last spirit is dying, I get onto my team and use Avatar to make sure that they have enough might for the last burst. We avoid the eggs as that mechanic can be a pug killer by preventing you from having enough damage for the last phase, and we simply go on to doing our DPS rotations while I heal the team and make sure that they are fine. Here, despite using my Glyph of Rejuvenation, I didn't have enough Avatar instantly, however the CC was fast enough to ensure that I could heal them up right after we were done with it. We avoid the eggs once more and just casually finish the damage that is required on this encounter.